This podcast was recorded and produced on Gadigal land.
We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians and pay our respect to elders past and present.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
This is my final MAFS related interview.
Are they talking about me? She's like, yep. It was Australia's reaction.
This is an exclusive.
Caused a lot of drama and it never got aired. It just went nuts.
Hello and welcome back to Reality. I'm Selina and God have I missed you guys. It is a brand new season, a brand new year, a brand new era, and we also have a brand new co-host. I am obsessed with this queen. I feel like this is the collab that no one expected, but like you'll be very excited. It is my queen Tahnee.
Hi!
Woo!
I am so happy to be here. I feel like no one's going to expect this from us.
I know, right?
We love that.
Literally.
But thank you for having me join. I'm very, very, very excited.
Two little Asian queens.
Asian queens.
Asian
love
persuasion.
it.
Both healed and suffered trauma from MAFS.
Yes. Honestly, I reckon we trauma bonded over that. Let's be real.
Yeah. You were on season 10?
Season 10, yes.
I was on season 9.
Yes. I watched your season. Loved it.
I loved you. Oh, actually, no, I couldn't quite watch the whole season 10 only because I was still recovering.
It's a lot. I feel like the year after you go on it, it's you watch it back and you're just triggered the whole time.
You see it from a different lens.
For sure.
Even the dramatic sound effects that they use.
The violin, the dun-dun. No.
Yes. I couldn't. I know. So much has happened since we had you on the pod last.
Well, you're not single anymore.
I know.
I am.
Oh my God.
No, we spoke. When did we speak? It was last maybe.
It would have been like May.
Yeah, April, May.
May sort of
So
thing.
it was like early last year and it was an interesting time, a lot of drama going on, which I feel like constantly follows me. But no, so much has happened.
Yeah.
So much has happened.
Seriously.
I feel like life after reality TV can be crazy. But it's been great. It's been really good. I feel like I've taken like all of last year to really like reflect on my journey on the show, my last relationship, and then move into like dating as like a new person almost. And it's been fun.
That's so good. I know, because like we go to events a lot together and we bump and cross paths, but we don't have time to properly sit and chat. And every single time we pass each other, we're like, oh my, so much tea, babe, so much tea. And we never get to actually debrief.
Always.
So this is so good.
We can have our weekly debriefs on here.
Weekly tea. And we're not obviously just going to be talking to each other. We're going to be talking to our favourite MAFS Love Island guests as well.
Reality TV, everyone. No, I think it's going to be fun just to have those like conversations, dive a bit deeper, unpack, get the tea straight from the source.
Right.
And I mean, I love reality TV. I know you do too. And I'm so glad we can just yap on about it on this podcast. And that's really what it's going to be.
Literally.
And it's like, obviously MAFS, we're on MAFS. We love MAFS, but there's so many other amazing reality TV shows as well that we want to dive into too.
Like Love Island this year was hectic. I was hooked.
Loved it.
It was giving season 1 for me.
Like, it was great.
So much drama and like so much beef. It was giving MAFS.
Yeah, it was giving MAFS. I love Love Island. I think if I didn't do MAFS, I would love to be on Love Island. But also I'm like, I don't know if I have the confidence to do the stuff that they do.
Are you
it's
kidding?
like embarrassing. All the like kissing challenges and like the striptease stuff. I could never.
I could never.
And also part of me is like, a bit selfish. I don't want to like have to fight for someone and share with other people. I want to just like, MAFS was great because you get given someone and that's your person and you go through, or it depends on how you want to go down.
True.
But I like that format. So I always think that I've been adopted into the Love Island franchise because a lot of my friends are in that on that show. But yeah, they're even All Stars. Have you been watching Love Island All Stars?
No, but I just saw an article today that Lucinda Strafford, that was on last season, that was matched with Zach, was meant to be on All Stars. But she got there and then she pulled out last minute. So she's like flown all the way there and all the way back to the UK.
I mean, fair enough.
But what happened? I want to know the tea.
What's the tea? Look, I feel like with Love Island, I would hate to come on as a bombshell. I feel like I'd want to be like one of the OG cast. I feel like when you watch it stresses me out how they have to go and graft and like go and steal people. Like that would be the worst.
Yep.
But there's been so many rumors about like who's going on. Like I was hoping Obi would go on, and then he was like, no. I was like, no, the finest man to ever exist on the franchise is not coming back. But also, I don't know, I feel like on reality TV in general, I feel like there should be an age limit, and I think that should be 25 across all reality TV.
Yep.
I feel like before that, I just don't think you can fully understand what you're signing yourself up for.
I agree. Yep.
I know MAFS is 25 plus, but I think like it's because I think when like these people have been on Love Island, they've been like 19, 20.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you
could
had
not.
done something like that at that age?
Yeah, no
Awful.
way. By the way, I was scouted for season 1 of Love Island.
Was it like a DM thing? Like
No,
what was
I was out one night with the girls.
Shut up.
Like we just got off the boat. I've been day drinking, super drunk, and they came up to me and they were like, "Oh, are you single?" And I was like, "Oh, they're gonna probably set me up with one of their weird cousins."
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, we're casting for a show called Love Island Australia." Never heard of it before. So drunk, I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, sure." And then I got a call because I had obviously given them my details. And they were like, "Have you filled out your application yet?" And I was like, "For what?" Didn't even remember.
Sorry, who are you?
And they're like, "Yeah, we'll send it to you again. So just check your email." And then I went through the whole like audition phase and everything. And and then they sent me an email saying, "Look, we want you as a bombshell, but we're only going to give you like," it was something really odd, like 48 hours notice if we need you. And then you need to be on a plane to Spain. And I was like,
It's just
then,
too
full-time
much.
hairdressing. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
And I just feel like, to be fair, that was like one of the best seasons I've ever seen to grace
Right?
Australian TV. Let's be
Iconic.
iconic.
Yep.
And so many great characters from that specific
Right?
franchise. Like,
Literally.
like from that season.
I know.
I don't know how you would go on it.
Looking back now, I'm so glad I didn't do that. I'm just, it's not me.
Yeah. No,
You know
I
what I
feel like
mean?
it takes a type person to go on, like, you have to be really just like forward and just
Yes.
full on, and it's just not a bit of me. And I don't think it's a bit of you either.
Imagine
like,
us
please,
on
no.
the truth bike or something. or when they do
okay,
those,
no, that's a sleigh. I could do that.
true. But like you know
The
those
striptease
slow-mo
stuff.
like shots that they do when they're pouring alcohol on
bikini.
themselves and yes, and they're
I don't
being
think I could do the
sexual.
bikini every day.
Yeah,
I don't think I could do that.
What are you talking
Nah,
about? Yes, you can.
I don't think
I've
I
seen you in
could.
like the Beattie stuff. You look amazing.
Thank you. I love Beattie. Okay, so we could talk about this all day, but
Literally.
let's get into MAFS chat. So obviously, New Year, every time I'm like, it's AO, then it's MAFS time, straight
Yes.
into it. So New Year, and we've been seeing some stuff, and we thought we would answer some of the questions we've been seeing online because there's so much.
Yep.
And I think we wanted to start off with contract. I
Yes.
also printed out my MAFS questionnaire, which is hilarious. But we've seen a lot of sentiment online in regards to the contract. I think it stems from the general conversation of bad edits and
Yep.
people, I guess, having something to say about how they're perceived, and you kind of really sign away control over that when you
Yeah.
do something like this.
Yeah.
And I actually saw this brilliant TikTok video by a lawyer on TikTok. I love legal talk, called Chhaur, and
Love him.
love him. And he basically came on and said he had a client that came to him to review the contract and was like, do not sign this, and was like, these are the key points, don't sign it.
Yep.
And I think he said like that person went on to go on the show and wasn't shown in a favourable light. Would love to know who that is.
Me too.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, and I don't know if you had this experience, but when I was reviewing my contract, I did get a lawyer to look at it. Did you?
Wow. No. I just like read through the whole thing.
You're like, yep.
I know Al from my season just signed it. He didn't even read it.
Shut up. He was like, it's so Al
TV show, yeah. Yes, so Al.
So Al.
We love him.
Well, I think, okay, if you, let's say you didn't read the contract, there is one page you want to read. And
yep.
that page is like, you've got your name on the contract, then it's like first page,
Yep.
bold, boxed up.
Yep.
And it's basically like what you're signing your life for. And I think back and I'm like, why did we sign
I
that?
know. So I hands down admit I was so naive.
Yeah.
So naive. I'm like, I just wanted love so badly and to be loved that I was like, surely they could see the desperation and match me with someone genuine at least, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw that. It's like this huge box,
You just glaze
and it's
over it.
grey. It's like highlighted grey and it's different from all the other pages. The contract is 37 pages long. Like, it's long.
Really long. I do want to preface though, I do think, although a hectic contract, I think you should be able to withdraw consent anytime in any situation in any scenario. That's my personal opinion, and obviously in this case you can't do that.
Yep.
So I'm going to say that, but keeping that in mind.
Yep.
All right, so I think the general thing is that you can't control how you look and you might not be shown in a positive light.
Yep.
Which is, I think, most people go on MAFS. I feel like the chances of you looking not like an idiot is so much slimmer than
100%.
looking positive.
Yep.
I think positive's the key word there.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can comment on this and we are able to share our honest opinions in regards to that. I would never advise someone to go on if that was what they wanted, because fame doesn't equal money, and personally I would rather money than fame. And I think the fame element is really, it's interesting because I think, especially if you have a certain job, you can't really work in that job after going through an experience like this. It makes your life, I feel like MAFS made my life a lot harder in different ways, from professionally, from relationships, from all areas really. And I think that maybe is not really thought through in that beginning stage, because you think, oh my God, amazing, I'm going to be on TV, I'm going to get Instagram followers, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
It's not always the case, and I would say it's not always the case for like 98% of people that go on.
Yep.
I think that's
agree.
a fair number.
Definitely agree with that.
When you signed up for it, because I know yours was during COVID time, which was even more intense, what did you think? Were you like, okay, I'm going to be on TV? I'm like, what was your kind of headspace when you were applying for that? Yeah, what did you think?
So for me, right, I'm 37 this year. So I was, 3 seasons ago?
Yeah.
And like what you said, it was peak COVID, lost my job, was in lockdown, the ad came on. I was just in a really vulnerable, dark place. Like, I've actually shared a lot online recently on my TikTok about my family dynamic. And just unpacking a lot of that trauma. I now know that back then I was even more fragile than what I am now.
Yeah.
And like, I was so lonely. Like, I was in this huge 3-bedroom house by myself. I was renting, but in Adelaide it's so much cheaper.
Of course.
And I was like, I was literally like, I could die right now and no one would give a fuck. My parents weren't checking up on me. Like, lost my job. I was like, the only way they would find my corpse is if someone was like, hey, she hasn't done my hair, like, everyone's back to work now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, everyone's got someone, whether it was a dog or a cat, mother or a sister, mum or a dad, they had some kind of
like love around them.
And I just had no one. And I'm not saying this to be like a pity party. I hate fucking people feeling sorry for me, but I was just in such a dark place. And for me, I think you can relate to this being of Asian background, but like in my household, it was like, you're only going to be able to leave here and be happy if you get married. So my mind was always like, my ticket to happiness was when I were to find a partner.
For sure.
And so I was like in such a dark place, and the ad came up for Married at First Sight. I was like, wow, like maybe this is a sign.
Yeah, it's the universe telling me.
If people know me and follow me for a while, they know I'm all about the signs and the synchronicities.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the universe telling me to sign up.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe my soulmate's just like
there.
a TV show away. Yeah. So that's why I signed up.
Yeah.
Just keeping in mind, I feel like we all made really shitty decisions during COVID.
For sure.
That was mine.
Yeah, that was yours. So it never really kind of went through your mind, that fame, fortune, Instagram-y aspect, did it?
No, because even like, I've been seeing the same psychologist since the show. And even she's like, but you loved hairdressing. I'm so confused why you left. I had a full clientele. I was really happy, obsessed with hairdressing. So it wasn't like I was going on there to launch. I didn't have anything to launch. Like nowadays you'll see like I'm on a podcast now, but like normally when you see post MAFS, they've launched something, they've used the show as a little bit of a platform.
Yeah.
But I didn't have, my forefront of my mind was definitely to find love.
Yeah.
But that was that worked against me. Because I watch myself now and I don't recognize myself.
Yeah.
I put up
I don't
with
recognise
way
her
too
either.
much shit with that. Yeah.
And you'd never do that now.
Ever. No.
Never. So there's a lot of chat online. It's exposing ourselves. But people being like, who would apply for this? And they're totally scouted because they're all coming from different reality shows. And it's so funny because you and I both applied. Mm-hmm. Lack of judgment from us. And I find it funny. One thing I really hate is when you see, this is a complete side note, but when you see after the show people coming being like, well, they approached me. I didn't even apply. They scouted me.
Yeah.
Like it's any better than applying.
I know.
It's okay, does that make you better because someone slid in your DMs or what's that about? But from our experience having applied for it, it's a different... I think it's a different process because I feel like they then maybe shape the couple around you, whereas
they do.
They then maybe find someone that suits what you want or to contradict what you want or to kind of fit in that dynamic that they're looking for. So if you have applied and you fit in, okay, great, you are the good, wholesome girl or you're the villain, then they're going to be like, let's find your person to match.
Yep.
I think that's a logic I have in my head. Could be completely wrong. But we've seen this year... quite a few of the cast have been on their actors or they've been on previous reality TV shows.
Yep.
What do we feel about that?
I feel like from a production point of view, it's probably easier for them to work with someone who is comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because on our season, I reckon none of the boys had watched the show before. And they just weren't compliant because there are you're filming a TV show at the end of the day.
Yes.
There's certain things that you have to redo 10 to 20 times even. And my person, I don't even know if I want to mention his name.
No, we're not saying
he just did not want to do it.
Yeah.
He was off it. And I'm like, but you're here for a reason. And
it's so funny to me because I had that experience too. My partner didn't watch the show. And I was like, why would you sign up to something that you don't even know what it's about?
I know, it's crazy.
And we had actually watched your season when we were filming because we're like, hey, what's next? What week's next? Let's watch it and suss out the vibes. And I was like, because I'd obviously watched, I knew I had a rough idea because I'd only ever watched your season. I'd watched season 6, which is iconic season. But I hadn't really watched it other than that. And honestly, I hadn't watched it from start to finish. I watched all the TikTok little social snippets. And that's how I got an idea of what was on there. But I really actually actively watched your season and that was what I was like, oh, okay, I think I could do that. Because I think for me, I love reality TV. I've always wanted to be in some sort of reality, some show.
Really?
It's always just been something I thought would be shits and gigs. And it being MAFS specifically was something that my sister and her husband were like, dude, you have to do it. It'd be so funny. And I was so anti it. I was anti MAFS, especially when we had years and years ago when gay marriage wasn't a thing. I was like, well, how come strangers can get married on TV? That's so ridiculous. But then people who are actually in love can't get married. And I was so anti it. And then I don't know why I changed my opinion. And then I think I was like, why not? Let's just see. I was obviously with the forefront, similar to you with wanting to find someone. I felt like I had exhausted, not really exhausted. I feel like you never exhaust all your options, but I was really done with the apps and I had not dated anyone or had any communication with any in dating capacity for 6 months before the process. And I was like, oh, maybe I would meet someone unconventional like this. I'd never thought I would meet someone in a normal way. And I was like, oh, maybe this is how I'll meet someone. What a great story to tell. And I felt that way for a significant part of that previous relationship, and then it obviously went downhill. But
did he apply or did he
no,
get
he
scouted?
got casted. Yeah, scouted for it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was just typical Instagram sliding the DMs. A lot of our cast, I think all the boys, but 1 or 2 that I know of were scouted.
Wow, same as our season. I reckon from my season onwards, the recipe changed. Don't you reckon?
I think so too.
Guys, everyone's different. I don't know how to explain it. Even just this year, like having so many couples knowing each other or have dated before, like, don't you think that's so weird?
Okay, I think it is stupid because I remember, and I don't know if you had this experience, but I remember vividly having a Zoom call with a producer, and I had to literally list names of people I dated in the last year, people that I went on dates with. They wanted to know names. Anyone that I thought would like, it was even like, who do you think is going to ruin your life? Who's going to drop tea on you? And I had to, I gave names.
Yeah.
So even people that I went on a date with or went on 3 dates with, I gave all those names. So there is no possible way they did not know, especially Ree and Jeff.
Yep.
There's no way they did not know that, and you could just tell by their reaction it was not genuine. I didn't buy it personally.
Really?
I did not buy that at all. Also, like, I'm pretty sure he's an actor. Yeah, he was on Neighbours. So I did not buy, and I love them. I think they're great. They're really well matched. I liked how she also said that she was robbed of the experience of marrying a stranger because she knew him. They dated. And I don't think they really got into what happened. I feel like, unless I've missed that, there's no way producers did not know that.
Yep.
Maybe they didn't say, but it was it was quite recent when they dated. So I just don't know how that would have gone undetected. Like, they do their research.
Yeah.
And then with...
I also heard that someone went on their Instagrams and they were both following each other. They were liking photos from back then.
They stalk.
So,
I
like,
know producers stalk.
Yeah, they would have seen that.
They would have seen that.
That's
so
a weird thing.
Yeah, I find that really bizarre. I think I'm more... inclined to believe Karina and Paul because they went on one date.
Yes.
I get how that is.
That makes sense.
Because I feel like anyone that, I guess, if was in Sydney, I might have like a 6 degree of separate. I would know.
Yep.
So I can understand that because they're both from Perth, and Perth is very small.
Yeah,
so
true.
I can completely get that.
True.
But yeah, when just. There's no way producers do not know. There's no way. You have to literally state who you've dated.
Yep.
I would assume that would have been brought up. Maybe it wasn't, and it's just this like coincidence. But
See, I don't know that part because I was single for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I was like ghosted. So I never really, never even went past the texting phase or like the one date.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no one on my list or radar.
yeah.
So that's interesting because I never got to do that part.
Yeah, no, it was really hard. And I remember like they wanted to know like people I blocked because I had a blocked list on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, and I like had to explain why.
Wow.
Any bad experience that I had with certain people, just in case that came up. Like, it was pretty invasive. Like, I felt like pretty exposed almost, like to have to talk about like things that had happened, and thinking about, okay, this guy that I want to date with is going to come forward and say this. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
I think that's one thing I want to get into is when you put yourself in something like this and you're very public facing, you're on a show, your demons are going to come out.
Yes.
And anyone that has something against you or wants to take you down, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
And any scorned exes, anything that could be something.
Yep.
Is likely going to come out. I don't think that happened to you, right? I feel like we've spoken about this. Nothing crazy. I didn't really have much. I was like concerned maybe people would say stuff that I could have backed up, but I just don't want to deal with.
Oh, I had like, because Adelaide's very small, I had a client come in and tell another staff member, because I said on the show that I was bullied throughout school and no one really wanted to hang out with me. And they were like, oh, no, that wasn't true. She wasn't bullied at all. And I'm like, but did your daughter hang out with me?
Yeah, like...
Because bullying's not like hitting or spitting on someone or like verbally.
It's more emotional.
Yeah, it could be. For me, it was just I wasn't included in anything.
Yep. That's still bullying to me.
Right?
It's actively leaving people out.
Exactly.
It's bullying.
Because I was purely different.
Yeah.
I was in a school with all Caucasians, Italians and Greeks, and I was the odd Asian one out.
Yeah.
And I was constantly left out.
Yeah.
And to me, that's bullying.
Yeah. Obviously, a big part of the show is that you have to give away your Instagram for like 6 months, and it is tough. Like, you're not meant to use socials, you're not meant to be on monitoring anything, and I think people aren't aware of what the process is, so we wanted to just go into that. So obviously the show airs in January, goes to like April time. That whole period until even about May, you have no access to your Instagram whatsoever. And that is like for posts, you literally get a folder of images. I don't know if this is the same for you. The Dropbox. And with the most hideous,
heinous pictures,
ugly angles.
Yes.
And then you've got to like write a caption and
they approve the caption.
Yeah.
And then post for you.
Did you have anything that wasn't approved? Any like thing that you try to like put in there?
Yeah,
I've got a funny one.
A few funny captions. I can't remember it now.
I had a really funny, one of the iconic photos of my face looking really displeased at a dinner table. And the caption I wanted to go with was me every time Harrison speaks. And they said it was bullying, so I wasn't allowed to do that. So I had to change it to like me when I hear the word gaslight or something. And I was like, oh, dude, that would have been so funny.
Literally.
But yeah, I guess it is bullying.
Still funny though.
And when you got your account back, there was like nothing. No DMs. Everything had been wiped.
Okay, so you had that too.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting mixed
I had
things
like
with people.
Nothing. Like I had my friends, like people like I follow and stuff message me, but anything new was completely gone.
Yeah, we had like 12 months worth of DMs just wiped from ours. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, it's crazy because I was running my business through my Instagram as well. So I had clients messaging me. So they probably thought like, what the fuck? What a rude bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something to keep in mind as well. If you are going to do MAFS, if you run your business, which I would feel like 90% of businesses these days are on social media, that is something to factor in because you literally don't have access.
Yeah, but that's the freaking frustrating thing about this cast because they have gone like rogue.
Yeah.
Half of them haven't even handed their Instagrams over. And I'm like, that's not fucking fair.
No, but did you not get the choice to opt in and opt out?
No.
Okay, so I don't know if people know this as well. When you sign your contract, so you have your contributor contract, which is your agreement to do the show, and then you have a social media with 9 contract that you can either choose to do or not choose to do. So I don't know if it's the same thing, but you have to opt in to do that, and that's you opting into giving your passwords, your logins, all of that. But you don't have to do that. I feel like your hand's a bit forced, personally, but you actually, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. They can't force you.
We weren't even given an option.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, give us your password, what's your email, we're gaining access now, and you won't see your account for like forever, basically.
That's so crazy.
Like forever. Yeah.
Because maybe if I think back, I probably wouldn't have given access. But then you're still not allowed to use it anyway, so you can't leverage off it. But you don't have to. But I do feel like you're then at a disadvantage of getting that publicity, if that's what you want. But I guess with the people that specifically have said no, I don't think they're sticking around for very long. So I feel like they just don't see the value in giving their account away, which respect, to be honest.
True. And I guess the main reason of why they don't want, well, they say that they take away access is because they don't want you to leak any storylines, go on your story and go on rampages and like cop any hate.
They also say the hate thing, and it's like, well, you don't really monitor the comments on the MAFS account, so you're letting hate be on there, but not on ours.
We see it anyway.
You don't want us out to have good engagement. It's giving you want to tank our engagement.
Yes.
Speaking of producers getting involved in the drama, do you recall any incident or any time during the show that you felt like you were being not coached, but kind of encouraged to be a part of a situation or to speak up, any kind of thing like that you recall?
Yes. I love my producer. I had Kate. I don't know who you had.
Yeah.
Kate was the best. And it just got to a point with filming where we weren't getting much from Cody. And she was like, guys, it's the dinner party. Like, do me proud. Like, get involved in it. You know, have a little bit more of a say. Yeah. You guys know what's going on now. Come on, get involved a little bit. Do me proud. So then when... this was the week that the photo scandal happened. And that is why Cody took it upon himself to just blurt out that he had seen the photo.
I remember.
Right?
Terrible
timing. Especially when I said to him, okay, I understand that Kate said that, but I'm your partner. I want to speak to Dom personally first and have a one-on-one chat. Please leave it to me. He then took it upon himself to then tell the whole table.
Yeah. The worst time.
The worst. So that's why that happened, because we got prompted. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Pushed to do it.
Not pushed. But she wasn't even saying to do that. She was just saying get involved more. Just speak up a little bit more. Because, you know, we were just kind of just mellowing out.
How funny.
Yeah.
I remember when I, at a commitment ceremony, it wasn't that I wasn't allowed to do it, but there was a storyline that obviously I'd kind of identified during filming. Ooh. And it was between Alyssa and her husband. Okay. And it was at a commitment ceremony where it's a pretty famous commitment ceremony of her, like, kind of storming out, I have a child, that kind of thing. Yep. And I remember when she had stormed out, like, I ran after her. I think it was me. I can't remember the other girls that did. And we were like, what the hell's going on? Like, I feel like you're being misunderstood here. And, like, it was really tricky because when we watched that back, it was completely different to how it played out. Wow. And then when they played it out, it looked like none of the girls went after her and just her partner did. And it was like, dude, so it looks like she had nobody to back her up and nobody believed her and nobody was on her side, when it was just not the case. And we were all like, this is not what we're seeing. And that was really disappointing because I felt like, I was literally screaming up by the producers, like, get back inside. I hate that. But then, like, when he went out, he was allowed to go and, like, chat with her. Then it was, like, her storming away in the elevator. And I was like, well, so you strategically wanted that specific scene. Yeah. And the girls were there being like, oh, my God, are you okay? And there was we weren't allowed to do that. Wow. So that, like, stuff like that, I really was like, hey, they obviously have... They've made their mind up with what they want to be shown. Yep. And that obviously was to her disadvantage, but it's fine.
Oh no, poor Alyssa.
But yeah, I loved my producers and I loved the experience I had with them. I didn't feel like I was pressured to doing anything that I wasn't comfortable with.
Same.
There was only at the end where I felt like they were really trying to pressure me to say, like, I love you on camera, and it just wasn't something I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
Even though we had said it, we just didn't want to, like,
say it on camera.
It's like we've given everything to these people. Like, we can at least have something special for ourselves.
I love that.
And that's the only time I really ever felt like they were pressuring me to say something. But I loved my producers. Do you speak to yours still?
I got her a present and everything at the reunion. And then I never really heard back. I got one email afterwards to say thank you for the gift, and then that's it. Did you ever hear back from yours?
I always speak to my producers. I have a few of them. Yeah, I just have them on Instagram, chat, always, like, seeing what they're up to.
God,
I don't know. I feel like I really you obviously spend a lot of time with your partner, but the next people is your producer. Yeah. Like, you're not allowed to spend time with each other. So it's really your partner and your producer.
Yeah. So there's one question that I really want to ask all our guests this season is, was there anything that happened that didn't go to air that you really want to talk about? So was there anything that happened with you that didn't go to air that happened?
So there was actually two things that I wish was shown, just because I feel like it would make things a little bit more sense. Just after the fact.
Okay.
So on the honeymoon, which I'm sure every couple did, you get an honesty box.
Yes.
Majority of this is not shown, but I feel like they pick and choose what it's shown.
Yes.
And we had a box, and it was, you had to answer it in the order that the producer gave it to you. You had to just do it exactly, follow the instructions.
Yeah.
So get the question, have you ever cheated on a partner before? So I go on a rampage about how, no, I haven't, and how I think it's really weak when people do this, and I'm really against it, on this whole thing about how I think it's, like, unacceptable.
Yes.
So then my partner gets it. And I was like, have you ever cheated on a partner before? His answer was yes. And I was like, fuming, because in my application, the one thing in my non-negotiables was I didn't want a cheater.
Yeah,
that was
we've
literally
spoken about this so many times.
One thing I didn't want, and I was like, I just think cheaters are always going to be cheaters. You don't change, and I just feel like if you can do that once, you can do it again.
Agreed.
That's how I feel.
Yep.
And I was like crushed, and I just kind of sat there like, I felt a bit stitched up. I was like, great, okay.
Was he showing any form of remorse? Like, did he feel bad?
Yes, I think he felt bad. He tried to justify why he did it, which I think the reason was worse. But I'm not going to share it because it's, like, personal to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just made it worse.
Oh, no.
And I was like, okay. And he kind of reassured me that he wouldn't do that to me, which doesn't really mean anything to me because I'm like... You've done it once. Yep. So I was a bit rattled after that, and I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know how I feel. Like, it was something I was, like, trying to, like, get over. Then when we fast forward, which ties in, when we did, which you didn't have to do, we had to do the couple swap.
Oh, God.
And the couple swap has been the stupidest challenge of all MAFS history, honestly. And we had to go stay with another partner for 3 nights and get perspective, I think was the justification the experts had. And I remember vividly producers coming in the room with me and Rupert being like, you're not allowed to talk to your partner for these 3 days. If you do, you're going to get in trouble by the experts. Follow the instructions. You're not allowed to, you're not allowed to do that.
Wow.
So I'm like major rule follower, and I know you are too. And I was like, yeah, sweet, that's fine. Like I won't talk to him. The thing that wigged us out was that we were like, I felt like they were like recording us because we were talking about like messaging our partners, and then they stormed in right after that, and I was like, dude, I think they're listening to what we're saying.
I
so
swear
we were
there's
wigging
mics
out
in the room.
Yeah, like we were like looking for mics in the room.
Yeah.
Like, I have a video of me like recording him looking in the roof and stuff. Meanwhile, he's then being told in his head, hey, why don't you think Tahnee's messaged you? Do you think she's cheating on you? And then they really played up that whole cheating narrative with me potentially doing it. And then we had a huge blow up when I came back from that because he was just being weird with me. And I didn't really understand why. And it was obviously an insecurity around that because he had done it. So I think if you've done something, you're going to assume someone's going to do it to you.
Yes.
And it was like a huge fight. Like I was going to go, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. I was going to go back to my apartment in Bondi. And then I wanted to stay in another room. They wouldn't give me another room. I was like, well, I'm leaving. You can't stop me. It was a full thing.
Oh my
Then I ended up staying in another room, and it was really bad. And it kind of was just like, why is he acting like this and being weird to me? At the commitment ceremony, none of that was shown. So none of the fight, that commitment ceremony is so weird to watch back because they didn't touch on that. I sat there with the experts and I was like, I'm struggling with the XYZ, and they just like ignored my questions, didn't really like help me through whatever that was. And then because it was cut out, so none of that was shown, and no one really understood why we had the fight, and that whole the whole sequence of how that went down didn't make sense. And I think people were confused with why he was upset, why he felt a type of way, and why there was this vibe between us, because there was all these things that could have been unpacked more that weren't. And I think it's hard on the show because people are always going to believe what happened is that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really hard coming off, which I think we've both been lucky. We didn't really have anything too difficult to overcome, but I think if you've been shown in a certain way, it's really, really hard to justify or explain yourself after the fact because people are going to believe what they saw.
Yep.
So I think that did make things difficult for me moving forward. But it just made more sense. It was the only fight we had, and they just chose not to show it when it would have just given more context to what a real relationship might look like and misunderstandings.
I just felt like you guys just didn't get much airtime at all.
No,
They just wanted you to be that cutesy, happy, funny couple.
Which I think in hindsight, I'm very happy and glad about.
Yeah.
But it was, the whole experience is just so bizarre when you think back about it.
It's crazy,
It's like, why
isn't it?
did I do that?
That's a wrap for our first episode.
Yay, so fun.
So cute. I love this new era.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to be chatting each week. We're going to be bringing you all your fave reality TV stars, bringing all the goss, all the tea.
Yep.
It's going to be so fun.
So much fun. And guys, if there's anyone that you guys want us to chat to, slide in our DMs.
Yes, we'd
Let
love
us
to know.
Yeah, or if you have any dying questions you want to ask.
We want to know who you're loving on MAFS, who you're hating. Are you watching Love Island? Who you want to see on? All of it.
And if you love the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. And Tahnee, I can't believe this is our first episode together.
It's been so fun. I'm so excited for this season.
Woo, same.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Reality.